All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Please don't share at the moment. Take that out.
Shweta, slide share, please. Remove it for the time being.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, all the principals, teachers, faculty, and resource persons, and all the stakeholders that are joining us today and would be looking over our webinar series through YouTube and other platforms in the days to come. We are here on another of a session regarding making of a graphic novel. And as you all know, there was a circular on introduction of skill modules, which was circular number 48. I am just repeating it for the people who are first timers on this particular webinar so that they get a feel of what we are talking about. We had a circular 48 dated 6th April that talked about introduction of the skill modules in the CBSE ecosystem. So kindly go through that particular circular and you will get all the details, which has the mapping of the existing teachers along with all the institutions that have been a part of this particular journey of developing the skill modules along with us. One small thing is that we are into a series of these webinars where the orientation was on the 1st of May. Then on 2nd, we had the pottery webinar. Then came bakery and khadi. And today we are how to make a graphic novel or making of a graphic novel. This is another very interesting module that we would be talking about in this 1 hour. These webinars or the sessions are available on the CBSE Skill Unit YouTube channel so that you all can go back and again have a rerun or ask your faculty and teachers and others to go through it if required. Not to waste much of your time because it's only a 1 hour session and we have wonderful resource persons who would take you through the making of this novel and how to implement it in your respective schools and other ecosystems. Making of graphic novel, I can only say one thing, graphic novel is a complete story told through words and pictures combined together for n number of things that are available nowadays via different we can say platforms and means and ways. So one small thing is picture is worth 1,000 words. So that is what the entire concept of a graphic novel it is. And graphics, we can say, is nothing new to the humanity as such, right from the caving wall, like cavings on the walls, to the different statues that have been built or the different tombs and carved tombs. All those things are, in some way or the other, are an extension, we can say, of our graphic or comic novels that we call them today. I am not an expert, so I think these are the things I would leave it to our panelists to discuss further. And for me, I can only understand that graphic novel is something that can have genres which can really permeate to n number of you can say categories, right from the age group to 3 4 to maybe to the old age. There can be superheroes, there can be political twist to it, there can be anything that we talk about when we are looking into these sort of novels, and how it is important for the schools or the students or the part or the people who are part of the education fraternity is something that we'll unfurl in this 1 hour with our experts. Thank you so much, and over to you, Sandeep sir, for taking this journey forward. And welcome again, all of you here, for a wonderful 1 hour with us. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, sir, Sandeep sir. I think we have, if Mr. Sandeep Sethi has got some technical issues, I think I can request Aditi ma'am to please take the session forward, and we'll have Sandeep Sethi joining us again later on. Over to you, ma'am.
So much, Neeti ma'am. As always, it's a pleasure to be part of the CBSE website. website collaborative efforts to work together, to learn from each other, and to share whatever we have tried to achieve. So today we are talking about graphic novels, a concept that first came out a couple of years ago when Sandeep sir brought out a graphic novel on the French Revolution, if I'm not mistaken, by one of the schools in Jaipur. And he was obviously very excited because the children were very excited when they created this. And he brought it to many of us in the NCR area. And we saw it as a great new way to teach children. Graphic novels then became almost like a dharma for us, because during the pandemic, when we were not really in offline mode, we were able to work together very effectively and create novels on different topics linked to the curriculum right from class 6 onwards. In fact, even junior school later on. As we were doing this work, Niti ma'am, we've discovered that we were actually addressing all these so-called 21st century skills, which are so important for children, for teachers going forward. So whether it's communication, how you tell your story, telling a story about physics, for example, through a cricket match, or talking about the journey of agriculture, but through a story of people traveling from one state to the other. So the whole idea, many ideas came together. Art integration came in. Ek Bharat, Shresht Bharat became the highlight for most of us. Then collaborating, working together, all departments of the school, the computer department, the language department, the content developers, all of them working together to create this. And we also got some children to do some artwork for us. Critical thinking, how to build your story. I mean, the story comes to a standstill because we're not really authors in that way. But these skills we were able to bring out in the teachers, brainstorming together, sometimes arguing that how can a story be like this? This is making no sense. Let's restart again. And of course, creativity, which came to the forefront. And I felt especially happy when a very young and a very beautiful school called Dharav High School took on the mantle to create a graphic novel on how to make a graphic novel. So I think as we took the steps, baby steps in creating, it was Seema Sehajpal ma'am, who's the principal, who took on this beautiful task of actually making a template of how a graphic novel should be made. And I think it has helped a lot of schools to move together, to work together. Over to you, Seema ma'am, to tell the group here about your journey. And I do hope that many will be inspired and they'll make many more graphic novels, which will make the teaching learning process even more joyous and fun-filled.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
I'll just say pitch in for a minute, Seema ma'am. I have amongst us Dr. Swati Gupta. She has also joined us. She is our Deputy Secretary, Skill Education, and she's a part of developing a lot of graphic novels under our Skill Education Department. Welcome, Dr. Swati, and it's a privilege to have you here with us.
By any chance?
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Dr. Gupta.
Not with yes, because
Thank
I
you.
can't
Good
hear you again now.
afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. Dr.
Okay, fine.
Sethi.
So welcome everyone. And in case if others are not speaking, then I'm taking this charge.
Thank you so much,
We
Sandeep
have
Sethi. We are
15
already
schools who have collaborated to create this unique effort of creating 39 manuals on 3 different levels of level 1, level 2, level 3, which some will be calling as grade 6, 7, 8, but we are trying to use the word levels for them. And today is just a 4th one. So we've got 9 more to go. And principals and teachers, this is not just the end. You have a list with the circular number 48 of the manuals which are being made, and they're all on the website. But the interesting part is tomorrow we begin the second phase of making manuals, which we are making around 25 more. So in case if you want to join the gang, let us know through some way or the other, send a message to CBSE. We'll ask you to join the session tomorrow, where at 6 o'clock we begin a session on how to make these manuals and how we are selecting the various topics. So here the fun part has been that most of the schools, not all, most of the schools, which topics they've taken up have done a pilot project on them. And hence we are very equipped to share with you your queries because they've done the work themselves and they're the best people to answer what problems could have been there, what problems they have faced, and the solution to those problems. So the best way is to ask as many as questions you can think of, because these are the right people to answer the questions. And just to add on to a little more, CBSE has, along with NCERT and Diksha, uploaded 150 graphic novels purely on academics at the Diksha website. They were made in collaboration with maybe around 70 schools. 150 graphic novels, and 50 more are in the process of making. So make the best use of it. They're all from grade 1 to 12. Get the whole list from Diksha, and I'm sure we'll do a lovely job. And over to Aditi ma'am, who's the director of the Arav School and the principal of DPS Gurgaon, where after in
Okay, Seema ma'am, over to you now. Finally,
Thank
this,
you.
this,
Yeah,
this is the beauty that we have an informal setup and we are linked from different corners of India. So we will all be a part of this exciting and funny moments also at times. Okay, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Neeti ma'am. Warm greetings to the dignitaries from CBSE, directors and principals, and the education fraternity of the nation who've joined us today. First and foremost, I would like to thank Honorable Chairperson CBSE, Ma'am Nidhi Chibbur, Director Skill Education, Dr. Saha, Director IT, Dr. Johri, and Sir Sandeep Sethi for providing such an outstanding platform to all of us for showcasing what we've done inside of our schools. So when Sir told us about the skill manuals, we sat together and we thought, okay, what is it that we can do as a school? And since we were a part of making of graphic novels, like we made a couple of graphic novels, we felt that this was one thing that we could have done very easily. Because it doesn't require too many resources. We all schools have well-equipped IT labs, and the teachers were trained, so they'd done one set of novels. And we also saw how beautifully this was taken up by the students. So when these novels were used to teach topics in the classrooms, there was a lot of excitement, and whatever was taught in the story form, because comics have always are always loved by children. So whatever was taught was retained by the children, and they could very easily recollect. So that was like one major reason when we said, okay, let's pick up this topic and let's share whatever we've learned over this last 1 year with all the other schools and people who would want to take this up as a skill subject. So I also firmly believe that a skill once acquired stays for life. And by bringing in skills into the school curriculum, CBSE has ensured that the children have a strong foothold when they step out. So they won't have to worry about tough competition or things like that. They can become entrepreneurs themselves and start their own small units without having to worry too much about the competition that's going around in the country. So I take immense pleasure in introducing my team members, Ms. Manju Sharma, Ms. Hina Suhail, and Ms. Shweta Trivedi, who will be presenting today. Over to you, Shweta.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. It is a great honor and opportunity for us to present the manuals, making of a graphic novel before the esteemed members present today. Before we proceed, let's watch a short video. Most of us have grown up reading comics and at times were obsessed about them. The idea of developing skill of making a graphic novel sparked from the fact how comics attract us. And for the present day children, graphics rule the roost. A pictorial presentation of a concept laced with a story has a greater appeal to the tender minds than the spoken words of even the best teachers. And as a part of the pilot project of designing graphic novels, we have designed 4 graphic novels of different subjects and curated about 20 to 25 novels made by other schools. The experience had been enriching and inspiring for us, which sowed the seed for developing the manuals making of graphic novels. Manuals have been designed keeping in mind the 21st century skills, progression across grades, age appropriateness, student involvement, etc. The manuals have been designed in simple and lucid language with student-centric activities. Now, I hand over to my colleague Hina to update us about the content of the skill manuals. Thank you.
Thank you, Shweta. Let us have a look at the content of manuals. Class 6. Class 6 manual has been divided into 5 units. Unit 1 is the introduction to what a graphic novel is and the difference between a comic and a graphic novel. Unit 2 is about the identification of skills and team formation. This unit has detailed instruction on the team formation on the basis of skills the students possess. Unit 3 apprises about a selection of theme or concept. To begin with, we advise that the schools can start with simple topics in class 6 like save water, save electricity or something like that. The unit also covers preparing storyboard, character description, dialogue writing and blog designing. Unit 4 tells us how to draw characters and develop background. Unit 5, the last unit, brings in the use of technology. It deals with placement of background, characters, dialog boxes in blocks digitally. Class 7. Class 7 has also been divided into 5 units. It is basically a progression of the Class 6 manual. In this one, instead of social issues, students will pick up topics from their NCERT textbooks. It gives detailed description of how to draw characters in different positions and postures. And in the technical assemblance, the zoom in and zoom out has been explained along with the use of different types of call out for dialogues. Class 8, being the last one, culminates all the skills learned in the previous 2 manuals. It gives detail of making storyboard, the final editing, proofreading, as well as the very important part of the graphic novel, that is curation. It also contains information about career options in graphic designing. Now I request Ma'am Manju to take it further.
Thank you, Hina ma'am. We researched and we saw the wider scope these skills would lead the students to. And breaking the traditional inclination to careers like medical, engineering, students are now pursuing the off-beaten path of different career choices. And designing is one such option. Skills required for such wonderful career is creativity, organization, collaboration, along with the hard skill of drawing and painting. Now let's have a look at some of the future prospects of skills enhanced by these manuals. For writers, we have so many. Some of them are content writing, blogging, script writing, mass media, etc. Then for the artists, we have illustrator, art teacher, fashion designer, or designer in any other field. For graphic designing, we also have animation, website designing, publishing, and many more. We can say graphic novel making is an advanced skill of drawing and creative writing taught within the 4 walls of the school. 4 walls of the classroom. It can relate to the concept learning of all other subjects. Thus, it is an interdisciplinary skill and incorporated with experiential learning. For example, when we designed a graphic novel, Fiber to Fabric, which is a chapter in the science book in class 6, we connected it with making of Khadi and the Charkha movement. Similarly, while making the geography novel, Major Landforms of the Earth, which was also a class 6 novel, class 6 chapter, we combined other subjects like English and history. Introduction of these manuals in schools requires no extra preparation, no logistic setup. Every resource is available within the school. In fact, it's a zero investment plan, as we already have language teachers, we have the art teachers and the IT teachers who can maneuver these skills into the students. I would like to like Hina ma'am to explain it a little more.
Thank you, Manju ma'am. From our side, we have tried to incorporate every possible detail which would be helpful in execution of these novels in school. For example, in class 7, when we are teaching zoom in and zoom out of an image, we have tried to explain it with the help of images as well as by giving some small interesting activities related to that. Not only this, links have also been provided wherever possible, which will be helpful in designing these novels by students. We have also explained and provided links for changing facial expressions and color of costumes, backgrounds, etc. Not manually, but digitally. This will reduce the burden of drawing images again and again, and thus will help save time. Last but not the least, it will not only enhance collaboration and teamwork among students, but in teachers as well. The beauty of these manuals is that there is no restriction of language. Schools can take a step forward and create their novels in any vernacular language. We would like to conclude that this manual will engage, enable, enhance, and empower our students and prepare them for their future. Thank you. We will be happy to answer the questions.
Hello. I think you all have made it very clear how the thing has been interwoven to create a masterpiece that we call as graphic novel. So before we move over to the questions, Dr. Swati, do you have anything that you want to put in vis-a-vis how these graphic novels are created?
Actually, the process, thank you, Neeti. The process has already been very well told by the team here. However, the main focus of any activity, be it graphic novels, is to understand why we are doing it. You know, you just cannot make anything out of for the just for making it something. So you have to have a very pertinent and a relevant topic to last for a couple of years, because graphic novel is like a baby. It takes almost a year to complete its process of from conceptualization to completion. And if we create a graphic novel for any topic which will not remain pertinent for another couple of years, then we are actually not doing justice to the hard work of all the teachers who have put so much pains in conceptualizing, making stories, storyboards, and everything. So my suggestion to any school who's starting with graphic novels is to first select topic which is kind of a topic which will last for almost, you know, at least for coming 5 to 10 years. So topics as generic as making a graphic novel or khadi or pottery or painting, it is something which will make graphic novels, it will give food for making graphic novels which will be more interesting, more dynamic, and something which can be referred back again and again. I remembered of reading a graphic novel called Cognito. It was developed by Academic Unit. It was on reasoning, and I found it so beautifully made. It was one particular topic graphic novel which I keep on bringing forth in my discussions with whenever we talk about competency based questions or learning style in the classrooms. So that novel can be also seen by these schools and understand that it is not just characters that needs to be placed, it is the dynamics between the characters which brings the story alive. So if you have to actually make a comic or a graphic novel, make sure that the characters are witty and humorous. And besides then bringing out more of the relevant topics, learning outcomes of your particular subject or particular, whatever topic you have. So dynamism of characters, the story, the outline, the plot, the setting, the age appropriateness, the language, everything adds to the beauty of a graphic novel. It makes it more readable by the students. At the end, that's what we want, that students keep on coming back to that novel again and again and keep on saying, okay, I understood this particular skill from this.
So this is my take on graphic novels. Niti, back to you.
For really, pitching in and giving the further clarity of how really we can go around making a graphic novel when it comes to the school system. So when it comes to we just starting it. So I understand it's a whole wide genre, and there is a lot of digital input. There are a lot of softwares. There's n number of things in today's world that can be a part of a graphic novel. But when we are talking about a school, I think what the source persons have detailed out, that an art teacher has to pitch in, a language teacher has to pitch in, and everybody has to come together to make something which can create a beautiful 15 to 30 to 32 pages of something that a child is interested in, a school is interested in. It can be, as I had mentioned earlier, it can be something right from a genre to a superhero to something that you see every day and hear every day to something that you read in your books, or you want to make it more clear when it comes to bringing it together in a way that visual experience is shared with all sort of students. And then we have n categories of students. So, and what I understand, and being an academician, we all understand that visual impact is the best way of putting something that can give it a learning experience. So thank you all of you.
Can
And
I
yes,
take in a
please,
word?
Sandeep Sethi sir. Yeah, please.
So, what I personally think is that this is one of the most uniquest things that we have seen, where there's a collaboration in the school itself. You see schools do very good work. Teachers are very good in their own fields, but at times they don't collaborate with each other, especially with the other departments. So like you've got the PGT lot, which is separate, DGT lot is separate, pre-primary separate, primary separate. But what is very unique in this combination is you can't do it alone. You cannot make a graphic novel alone. You have to take help from the art department. You have to take help from the IT department. You have to take help from the language department. And then you have to take help from the conceptualizer, that is the subject that you picked up. And all four run the relay race. And in a relay race, you note that all are important. So this comes out beautifully when you take up the combination like this, especially when you're doing it in a class. So if supposing a teacher, a language teacher perhaps takes up this topic of going through the sessions of the skill based of how to make the making of a graphic novel. So you have to select a subject first. No, you don't necessarily need to take an academic subject to begin with. You can take a subject which is close to the children.
Yeah, absolutely.
They can take something in sports. They can take something on social issues. They can take something on save water. They can take something on road safety. They can say something on say no to crackers. Just simple things which they can take, because they're very apt at making scripts on them. So when these children make to make blocks, I would request the teachers of Tharo High School to re-explain the making of blocks. And
Manju, can you do that? Please explain how blocks are made and how the entire thing comes together.
And it's also a request to please stop sharing your screen. That would give a more visual input. Yes, that's perfect. Yes, Sivan.
You're on mute, I think, Manju. We can't hear you. Still cannot hear you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You want me to explain block making, right, sir?
Explain everything right from the beginning, from the concept of the novel to the final printing.
See, making of a graphic novel is very simple. If we just first is the most important that we need is to pick up a topic or a concept that we want to simplify for the children. Now, once we have taken, say, for example, we picked up fiber to fabric. We wanted to explain how fiber was made, how fabric was made from fiber. So we developed a story from this. Now what we do, we pick up a topic and then we simplify it into a very simple language. We make a story, we design a story. We give characters, we give out the background. We start designing the whole story first. We write first we write the story, and then we start working on the blocks. Now, in order to make the block, what Sandeep sir has taught us was to take a sheet of paper, fold it into half, then again fold it into half, then again fold it into half, and that way we were ready with the blocks. Now we start putting that story into the blocks as per the requirement of the dialogues and the scenes. So per block will have different scenes and they'll have different dialogues, different sets of dialogues. We are not repeating the scenes, we are not repeating the dialogues in any block, and we slowly proceed with the story. We have to be very careful that the dialogues cannot be lengthy, because if the dialogues are lengthy, we cannot put them into the dialogue boxes, in the speech box and all. So we have to be very careful about this. The first role is played by the language teachers. It can be Hindi, it can be English, it can be any other vernacular language. That's not a bar. Now, once the story is done, blocks are ready, we give it to the art department. The art department and the students start drawing. We have students who some are very good in drawing figures, some are very good in drawing the scene. So we'll divide the work. We'll give the students who are very good in drawing figures and characters, we'll get them to draw the figures as per the mention in the blocks. In the blocks, we will also mention the age of the person, the character. We will mention the kind of clothes we want the characters to wear, so that the art teacher doesn't have to, think about what is to be done. They will only follow the description given in the blocks and they will make the drawings. The students and teachers will draw the characters, they'll draw the backgrounds. And when everything is ready, will come in the IT department. What they will do is they will pick up the backgrounds, put the backgrounds first, put the characters, put the dialogues, and slowly they start putting all blocks together. Now, once everything is ready, we'll have to give it for proofreading again, because sometimes when we are squeezing in the dialogue box or we are expanding, we tend to delete some words or overlap or something. So we again give it to the language department and the students to do a proofreading of whether the story is as per mentioned in the blocks that we had designed. If it is fine, then we give it to editing again to other teachers or students who can actually do the final proofreading. Once final proofreading is done, the novel is made, we send it for curation, because sometimes what happens, what I think is the requirement for a particular topic may not be what everybody else would agree with. So we need other people's viewpoints also, whether we are proceeding in the correct line. And then once the curation is done, if there are changes, we hardly have changes, because if your story is foolproof and it is able to explain the concept in a simplified manner, you will not have much changes. And if we have followed the norms of the CBSE, like we are not supposed to be gender biased, we are not supposed to be religion biased. If we are not doing that, everything is fine. And once the curation report comes, whatever small slight changes come, we do the changes and the graphic novel is ready.
Thank you, Manju. I would like to add on here that through these novels, we've also tried to bring back the Indian culture into the schools, where we have the essential Nana Nani or Dada Dadi telling the story. And we've tried to, even the clothes that are there are Indian in nature. And, because a lot of times these days we've seen that storytelling at home is missing. So there was a time when we were a little, our grandparents would tell us stories, value stories, usually based around values which children should have. So through these graphic novels, all of that is also coming in, but very subtly. So when the child is looking at a graphic novel and reading through it, sees that the grandparents are there living in the same place and talking about values. So in a way, along with educational concepts being cleared, we're also bringing in family values and making the children think and value the importance of a family which has a lot to give. So this is like one thing that I wanted to add. And also through the graphic novels, I believe there's no limitation. Like Sandeep sir mentioned, that we can take up social topics, we can take up anything which interests the children. So for the first few For example, say no to crackers can be taken up. The children will understand it better, so they would not get after their families around Diwali to buy crackers, because they have to understand. So once they're working on it themselves, once they're creating the entire story together and collaborating and debating about it, they themselves somewhere start feeling about these things and get convinced about the topics.
Thank you, Seema ma'am and Swati ma'am, both of you. Thank you so much. I think there's a lot of things that have cleared out. I was looking into the questions that were coming on the platforms, and two things are being asked by a lot of principals, teachers here. One is, do we need any sort of software for creating this particular graphic novels, or what is the software that has been used by you and your team to create such novels?
Shweta, would you answer that, please?
Ma'am, we have worked upon PowerPoint, Photoshop for editing the images, and we have used certain applications for changing the color of the dress, facial expressions. So we have used certain applications, and we have used PowerPoint and Photoshop for editing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And is there anybody who wants to ask the question who are already joined here with the medium here? Because I have at least 5-10 questions that I might take up later on, which I have just got from the different platforms here. So anybody else who wants to ask anything, Aditi ma'am or anyone who's there? Because in case if there's no one who has a query here, because I understand we are the panelists and the few people who are there with us in the medium. So I'll take up the other questions that a lot of people are asking is, where can we get these manuals? Because I understand the resource persons were talking about a series of graphic novels that they have created. So a lot of people want to know from where to get access to these manuals so they can also have a look at it.
They're all there on the CBSE Diksha portal for people to use. I mean, they can just go search for the topic that they're interested in, and all the manuals are uploaded there.
Fine, great. Thank you. So I think everybody got the answer that they have to just go for the skill manuals, which we're talking about, introduction of these skill manuals, like making of a graphic novel, that you would find on the CBSE Skill Education website, and the graphic novels that have been curated and developed by the team here can be accessed from the Diksha platform of CBSE. So I hope that is clear with everyone who wanted to know this. Another very interesting question that has come up is that, I know during this session it has been clarified, but still I think as a summary, if Seema ma'am or anybody else can just tell us, what are the skill sets required before a school really take on this making of a graphic novel as a module in their school? The skill sets, I mean to say, or I understood from this is like they might have this like art teacher or a language teacher or a textual content or an illustrator or something like that, and a software and an IT team. So if somebody can just really say point wise, these are the things that are required, I think that is what a lot of people really wanted to know in a nutshell.
Yeah, so I think all schools are already equipped with the skill sets that are required for the manuals. But for better understanding, I would request Manju to elaborate a little on that.
Thank you, ma'am. See, we need three skills. One is writing, and children who are good in plotting stories. All right, it's not necessary every child is able to create a story. For example, if we give a concept and a child is able to give us a plot, that child says, I cannot do any more justice beyond this. We can take up other children who can write the script. So we'll need good writers for this, and students who are good in language also. Then for art, as I told earlier also, we'll need children who can draw sketches, caricatures, and children who can draw background, or children who can do, same child doing both. And of course, students who are good in drawing. There are some children, who are only good in sketching. We will also need children who can do justice to the sketch that a child has made. That means color, filling in with good colors. Once one figure is colored, of course, we can use the technology and use color changes after that. We can use expression changes also after that. But for basic this, we need an artist. So the first skill was writing, second is artist, and then third is the IT sector. Nowadays, most of the children are very, very good with technology and they are very interested in it. And some of them will see that they really want to, come and they want to do it. For example, in our presentation also, the video, it was done by one of our students. We told him what we wanted and he quickly did it just within a few minutes. He brought out 2-3 videos, he clubbed them together, and we said we don't want the original sound. He put in music, which if we had done, we would have taken time. So children are very good at it, and these are the 3 important skills that we need. Of course, one more thing which Hina ma'am had already mentioned is editing. Because if you don't have good students who are very good with language and who have a knack to edit things or find out the faults in the language that has been put, all hard work goes waste. Because whatever language we use, it cannot be with error. It has to be error. Thank you.
Thank you, Shweta ma'am. I think that was very, very well explained, and a lot of query must have got answered through your explanation here. Still, I think a very, very genuine concern is coming by. They say we understand. Somebody has written here. He's saying that we understand. You all have done it, and you know it, and your IT system knows it. But is it possible to name a few apps at the moment that can be used or that can be told to our IT personnel or others, which are useful for making such novels, plus an app for making change the facial expression? So is it possible that do you have any sort of a list or something which is there which you as a team has made, or we can always put it later on? That is not an issue. If you have it, we can share it at the moment. The names of a few apps that these people can download or can be made available. Another thing is, they are saying these apps, are they really available on the internet system, or there are some apps that needs to be purchased to make these graphic novels? And I think it's a very, very genuine question.
Yes, the details of the apps are there. I mean, we've shared the links in the manual itself, but Shweta here, who's our IT support, can tell us about the other apps which are there, some names. Shweta, can you share some names, please?
Ma'am, we have various apps like facial changer, facial expression apps are there, and we have put up the links also related to these. We have color changer applications also. Color changer app is the name of the application, and we have many applications, and we have already mentioned the names of the application in our manuals. They are there in the manuals. Links are there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And one more very small query, which I am quite used to now, because each and every session has this query, and I love to put this across also. That is related to, they say, do we need a special teacher that we should identify to take up this particular project, or anyone who has an interest or who's capable enough can be identified from the pool of the teachers we already have?
Yeah, we don't need any additional teachers here. All the teachers are there in the school and who are interested. So it's more about, interest in creating something new. They can join, because we would require language teachers, we'd require teachers from IT, we'd require teachers from the art department, all of them coming together. So anybody who's interested and is keen on taking this up can be trained for it. And there's no specific training, so to say. It's just everybody doing their everyday thing, but together.
Okay. Thank you so much. And I think we are nearing our session now. And I was looking into the questions. I think the team has answered most of the general questions that were coming in. There were few who are also giving us suggestions on the platform. They said we can use Canva, we can use the other formats. So I think it's very nice that we have a very interactive audience here on the YouTube also. So before we close down the session, Dr. Swati Gupta, if you're there, can we invite you for a thanksgiving note to all
Sure.
the resource persons?
Definitely.
Thank you, ma'am.
I love to close the sessions. So thank you, Neeti. And I would just like to first bring the whole session into a nutshell and Also, I would like to say that I have got at least 18 graphic novels made, and there are 10, 12 more in the pipeline. So they are all made on the skill subject beauty and wellness. So thoroughly skilled from first page to last page. As I was saying, and as it has been brought up in the presentation, why do we need graphic novels? The first question that comes is, why do we need, when we have textbooks, why do we need to foray into a different genre of graphic novels? So my answer to this is, see, when we are studying, we love to see a lot of pictures. You know, as students, as young children, we used to have books with lots of pictures, which brought us closer to the text. So that is what graphic novel does. It is a one-to-one illustration of all the major topics that is being taught. So it is basically a story woven with the concept of the text or the topic. So when we are talking about, let's say, bullying, which is a very abstract concept, but it has a very great effect on the minds of young children. So this was brought out by graphic novels, and it was brought out in a beautiful fashion where children were interacting and they were showing how bullying can happen in a very simpler way. You know, just group of 4 children standing, and something happens and the child is bullied. So some concepts which are very difficult otherwise to speak in a school system or through books or through do's and don'ts, such concepts are dealt very well with graphic novels, and children come to know about it only when they read and they realize that, yes, you know, what happened to me, I did not feel good, it was bullying. So now what to do? It also tells the remedial measures. So such concepts are taught in a very interesting way with storylines and plots and learning outcomes, and, you know, a child is assessed on his knowledge of bullying or personality development or speaking in public. So these are the concepts which are dealt in, which can be dealt through graphic novels. So another thing is that, you know, when we talk about bringing in so many departments together, as Sandeep ji had mentioned it, that they were teachers from various departments. So it came to my mind when I used to take sessions on experiential learning. The third part of the experiential learning talks about inter-subject projects, how to bring in experiential learning with different subjects. So this could be such a wonderful, you know, way of bringing that experiential learning to children, because it is a first-hand experience that children will be doing. There will be so many departments that will be coming together. If you're talking about, let's say, hair care, so you have teachers which are into science, which are into home science, which are into arts, computers, IT, and, you know, they would all come together, and a wonderful project can be created on hair care through graphic novels, where children, age appropriateness is very important. And as we interact with school leaders, and we realize that children at that age are really interested into knowing how to maintain their physical form, you know, how to look good. But we need to make them understand that beauty and wellness goes together. So you need to be healthy. So what to eat, how to eat, how much to eat, all that can be, you know, spoken in that graphical novel. And it can be a project for experiential learning also, because children will be involved, they will be doing things firsthand, and then the whole cycle of experiential learning will start. So with this, I think I would like to thank all the team of graphic novel, Aditi ji, Seema ji, Shweta ji, Manju ji, Hina ji, and there are many more teachers, I'm sure, who are part of this session, this making of graphic novels. So I actually thank all of you who were part of such a process, which brought the simple thing, you know, graphic novel, because we used to do all that scribbling in our notebooks when we were young, and we used to scribble something, but now that scribbling will have a learning outcome, aim and objective, and the children can, you know, put all that scribbling together and make a graphic novel. How wonderful it would be for a school to actually have children who are so so into, gifted and so well into arts. And of course, I would like to thank our director, Dr. Biswajit Saha, under whose guidance the modules have taken its shape. Mr. R.P. Singh, Joint Secretary, for coordinating such wonderful modules. I would also like to thank Mr. Sandeep Sethi for his extraordinary efforts in bringing in creativity and originality into modules. My colleague, Ms. Niti Shankar Sharma, for excellent and effective coordination of the all these online webinars and the modules. And in the end, I would like to thank all the teachers who are present within Teachers, Principals, Management, who is present within the WebEx forum, and our wonderful participants who are watching us on YouTube Live. We are always there to bring such innovative things to the to the school system, so that children find it more interesting way of learning. And with this, I would like to now bid my adieu, and we will meet with the next webinar. And thank you so much. And if there's any queries, you can always reach us through YouTube and our emails. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Thank you, Dr. Swati Gupta. Thank you for this wonderful, summing up of the entire session. And I am so happy to see, because during the process, I am able to see in the YouTube chats and the responses that are coming. One great thing that I have learned is that in future, I think we are looking forward to a lot of schools taking up these graphic novels, and the success of this seminar would speak in a way that we'll got to see a lot of skill, development, happening vis-a-vis the graphic novels, and the CBSE Department of Skill Education getting it as the links or as the shared content of the novels from all of you who are there in our CBSE family. Thank you so much. It was wonderful to have you all, and looking forward to another day. Tomorrow we have another interesting session coming up, which is block printing. And I think this is again a session that would be, one can say, looking forward to everyone around here that go and see. Swati is already smiling, and I can see that smile on a lot of other faces also. So looking forward for tomorrow, same time, same place. Do come and join us for the block printing session again with another set of resource persons. Thank you, all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.